take you straight to Hyderabad. Joining us now, Mr. Syed Akbaruddin, India's former permanent representative to the United Nations. He served as spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs and India's representative at the IAEA. Mr. Akbaruddin, it's good to have you back on the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Palki.
Is it safe to say that the declaration of Joe Biden's victory is now just a matter of time?
Yes, since we met yesterday, Vice President Biden has expanded his lead and his path to electoral victory has expanded and increased. But at the same time, we've also noticed that the area of contest has now spread to another jurisdiction, and that possibly is the judicial arena. You know, elections are meant to resolve differences, to bring to an end divergence. But with every passing day, the 2020 US presidential election seems to be only throwing up new areas of divergence and difference. So we will have to wait and see whether the judicial path now opens up a new arena of contestation.
Right. It looks highly likely that this will finally be settled in court because Donald Trump, as we know, has not waited for the results to be announced. He's already moved court. How significant do you think is the demand of an incumbent president that the counting of votes should be stopped? Would this, in effect, mean a president calling for disenfranchisement of votes?
So we have to just step back a little from today and President Trump's statements and view this in a broader perspective. President Trump, to be fair, has always never concealed his concern for the electoral process. Even when he won in 2016, he did say that there were many fraudulent activities in the process, even though he had, through that process, emerged as a victor. Even now, he has been reiterating that same point. It is unusual, it is disconcerting, but then we have to see that even in the process that he is now trying to discredit, he logged in as many as 68 million votes. So obviously, he is reflecting a concern which is fairly widespread in US society. Yes, it's very disturbing that the legitimacy of the electoral process is being questioned, but it's being questioned by a representative who seems to have a fairly wide backing of the polity. And that's where the concern is, because irrespective of this outcome, these scars are likely to remain for a long time.
Indeed, and we have a flash just coming in, news flash, that the Trump campaign has won the court ruling to gain access to the Philadelphia vote counting. He wanted access to counting centers and he has got that. Now the whole world is watching. Interestingly, US markets are trading with a 2% high. Markets tend to be jittery when there is uncertainty on the political stage, but the US markets are doing pretty well. If you look at headlines from, say, Israel, the Jerusalem Post says that the Prime Minister Netanyahu, had already prepared ground to work with Joe Biden. Another Israeli minister has been quoted as saying that there will be war if Biden returns to the Iran deal. The world basically is looking at what's happening in America. How should countries like India see this uncertainty, which could be long drawn?
You're right. All diplomats and leaders globally prepare for all eventualities. And that's the right way to go about it. And therefore, everybody globally is looking at it. I'm certain, from our perspective, we are looking at two things. One is how any change will impact on India, and B, how would that new equation fit into our framework of ties. On that, we are on perhaps very solid grounds compared to many others. And that's because one of the few things that both President Trump and Vice President Biden seem to agree on, as well as the Democrats and Republicans, is bipartisan support for improving ties with India. So we start on a fairly solid edifice. Yes, if there is a change in administration, it does take time for a new administration to find its feet. And that's going to be a gray area. But that's how the United States functions. And so we have to get used to it. But even the Biden administration, from our perspective, is not unknown. Vice President Biden visited India last, if I could recollect, in 2013, when he was vice president, and at the invitation of the then Indian Vice President, Mr. Hamid Ansari. He's also been the Foreign Relations Committee chairperson for many years in the past. He supported the Indo-US nuclear deal. So there are many commonalities that we see in a change of administration if that were to happen. If otherwise, if the current administration continues, that too, the framework is in place, the personalities are well known, the equations are also well known. Yes, new frameworks always could bring in some uncertainty, but that's been the case even with the present administration. While our ties in a general manner have improved, there have been obviously trade tensions. You would recollect there were sanctions imposed on Indian steel exports. Also, we've had problems with H-1B visas and travel of professionals. So every administration will bring its own unique perspective, but given the bipartisan support that we have in the U.S. For ties with India, whether in among U.S. politicians or in societies, societally, many Indians have very good equation with the diaspora, very strong links. Our economic ties are strong. There will certainly be some changes, and we will have to accept those changes as we've done now in the case of President Trump. So to sum up, I don't see very many fundamental changes being brought in ties with between US and India. And so we are in a much more comfortable place than some of those who are making much more noise about it.
Right. And of course, relations between two countries do not necessarily depend on individuals. These are relations between two states, and yet individuals play their part. Joe Biden has been around for a long time. He comes with his experience. He also comes with his baggage. And many in India feel that he has taken an anti-India stand with his Kashmir statements last year. Although, to be fair, Donald Trump offered to intervene on multiple occasions, even after being told that there is no room for intervention of a third party. Are these fears unfounded that Joe Biden and his administration, if they were to take the White House, are not going to be as friendly with India as the Trump administration has been?
So again, you know, it's fair to be conservative and look at all aspects and consider that there are these possibilities. And that's a fair sort of assessment to make. But that said, we need to again look at the past. When President Obama came in his initial few months, there was a talk that he would appoint a special envoy, not only for Afghanistan and Pakistan, but also for India. But from there, he changed direction and ties continued to improve. Even President Trump, as you've mentioned, I remember in the first few months, he repeatedly talked of mediation, his willingness to intervene. He had very good ties. He considered this a nuclear flashpoint. But the end product, we see him as somebody who's been very supportive of ties with India, despite some other problems we've had on trade, on GSP, etc. So India is our ties with the US are resilient. They can withstand minor blimps. We should be ready for it. But frankly, on Kashmir, we don't have to be diffident. As a mature, forward-looking, confident, rising, emerging power, we can take on all comers in terms of our views on Kashmir, because we stand on legally very strong footing. morally and politically extremely confident.
Always a pleasure speaking to you, Syed Akbaruddin. Thanks very much for being with us on the show.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Thank you for watching Gravitas on WION's YouTube channel. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening around the world, then subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share. Thank you very much for watching WION. World is One.